Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're doing my April wrap-up video. This video is going to be a little bit different. For the second quarter, I'm trying something new. I'm going to try to review each book after I read them. Honestly, I forget half of the time what I've read if it weren't for my notes. So I'm trying to do something a little bit different, give you a more up-to-speed recap. But what we're going to do is go ahead and get started with Revive Me, Part 1. This, to some degree, to me was predictable, but that's what I loved about it. This is a fake dating relationship that obviously, again, breeds real feelings. But not only the feelings of the blossoming romance, but there are so many feelings and emotions that occur in this book. Like, you have to be mindful that it is some heavy content in here. Trigger warnings for death of a parent, trigger warnings for rape, trigger warnings for emotional abuse. This is a really heavy book. However, J.L. Seegers has some of the most beautiful writing. She creates the most well-rounded characters. She gives us beautiful storyline and beautiful connections between all of the characters. Read this series in order, the New Haven series in order, because you'll gain so much more of an appreciation in both books. The stories of the individual couples come full circle. When you read Restore Me, you will realize that we get to see Chris and Mallory, and he shows up at a dinner and he calls her princess. Well, full circle moment, when you read Revive Me, the first time Chris calls Mallory princess is at a dinner table, and tensions are high. So I want you to know that this series is phenomenal. So Revive Me has some of my favorite things. Obviously, you all know I am a sucker for skating dates, but this took dates to a whole new level, because there is a Disney World date that they go on. And when I tell you that castle scene and everything, the fireworks, it is one thing of a girl's dream. Revive Me Part 1 is almost to some degree the antithesis of what a lot of people complaints were about Restore Me. In Revive Me, it is a slow burn in terms of the intimacy between the two. And I when I say intimacy, I strictly mean, sex. In a lot of the comments from, people that read Restore Me was that there was too much. Well, J.L. Seegers decided to listen, and she said, you all are going to work for it. And as you work for it, you will appreciate it that much more. And I can tell you that I definitely did. This is, again, putting J.L. Seegers out of the stratosphere and making her a beloved and auto-buy author for me. I finished it, y'all. At this point, I could say that I'm caught up with the series, but Highest Bidder just came out, I think, last week. So I am indeed not caught up with the series, but I am making good headway. And Bo and Maggie, please do yourself the favor and read it. Like, Sarah Kate, I just want to say this. While Maggie is dominating Bo, Sarah Kate is dominating us. She has my money. I already have the copy of Highest Bidder upstairs waiting on me to read it. But I told myself I would slowly get through the series. I'm not. I'm jumping into the next one as soon as I possibly can. I am so happy that Sarah Kate is living here. She is fully tapped in and giving me what I require. Give Me More is still my favorite in the series, but this was a good second follow-up. Bo and Maggie, perfection. First of all, Bo is getting his redemption. We truly get to see why Bo and Charlie were never going to work. I appreciate that Sarah did not make Maggie bow to Emerson under any circumstances. I think the thing about Emerson is that he is a dom through and through, but he is caring of his people. But you see that he tries to care for and be ahead of everyone, whereas in this series, Maggie was a woman on her own 2 feet, and Emerson knew that. and their relationship. So this is a heavy comparison. Mercy and Praise are neck and neck from my point of view, but also the way that Sarah writes them, they are neck and neck. You have the balance of scale. So Maggie and Emerson are on the same playing field. Charlie and Bo are on the same playing field. There's so many comparisons between the two that I feel like if you like one, you would more than likely like the other. I love that we really get to see the exploration of both characters and them really learn their likes and dislikes together. And I don't know why I said dislikes, because there isn't a single thing that this couple does not like. Like, they're all green lights, no reds, no yellows. Let's try it. We're going to do it. Sarah really went for the gusto, and it paid off. As far as female relationships, right? So I was very, very concerned. I was concerned that Sarah was going to force Mia and force Charlie and force Isabel onto Maggie. And that was never going to work, because Maggie has always been on Stratosphere. She is an actual owner of the Salacious Players Club. And I wanted to make sure that she did not make her fall into suit. But what wound up happening is that we got to see this beautiful bond with Eden, and that kind of, tease it up for Eden's story. And I love that Maggie could find someone of her own, I would say to some degree, caliber that she could lean on. She did not have to go to Emerson, especially because of the sensitivity of the relationship that she has with her sub and who her sub is to Emerson. So it is time to wrap up not one, but two books. I have been binging these two books together. So I read Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is a brother's best friend or best friend's little sister trope. It is heavily Grump Sunshine. This is the first in a 4-part series that follows friends. Storylines are interconnected, but I'm assuming you could probably read them separately. I am reading this for a vlog, so if you want my in-depth thoughts of how I've been feeling throughout the process of reading this book, please feel free to check that out. This right here is a 4.75 star rating. Now, this next book that I read, I was gifted this by my friend Emily at Raunchy Romance Reviews on Instagram. Emily did a number with this one, because Jennifer Hartman, if I never read another Jennifer Hartman book, I think it would be too soon, because I am emotionally raw. Still Beating is genius and devastating and everything that I hope for in my sad girl era. This is a story between Cora and Dean. Cora and Dean are two people who have a mutual connection. So Cora's sister, Mandy, is actually engaged to Dean at the time that the book starts. Dean has been in their life for about 15 years. Cora and Dean don't necessarily have a good relationship. It's more of banter and rivalry. So Cora, Dean, and Mandy are out at a bar celebrating Mandy's birthday. Mandy gets a little bit drunk. She's ready to go home. Dean takes her home, but Cora's not ready to end the night. So she decides to stay and says she's going to get an Uber home. She is talking to a guy, not paying attention. Someone pickpockets her purse and steals her wallet. Now, that being said, she doesn't have a way home. She can't Uber, so she's calling around trying to see who can pick her up. No one's answering the phone. So the only person she has left to call is Dean. So she calls Dean. Dean's like, hey, it's 2 a.m. I'll come get you. Don't worry. He comes to pick her up, and someone is talking to Cora outside, kind of giving her creep vibes. So Cora gets in the car with Dean. They drive off. Well, the person that was outside of the bar actually follows them until they get to a stop sign, or they make a stop and pull over. So this is a situation where Cora and Dean, who have had this tumultuous relationship filled with pranks and banter and disgust, are put in the situation where the only people that they can depend on are each other, and they're fighting to see the next day and fighting their way out of this torturous situation that girl has them in. This right here made me go through literally every single emotion that I possibly could. I was furious and angry on behalf of the couple, and I was furious and angry with Cora. I'm going to be fair to say you get to see a lot of perspectives in this, right? So this is something that you do not take lightly. You try to give every character a chance and understand their perspective. Mandy, who is the sister, she has to realize that her sister and her fiance have gone through something and has brought them close together. However, this impacts her life and what she saw for her future. The parents, because they don't necessarily know whose side to fall on, if there is a right or a wrong, and they just want they want their daughter to be safe, and they want their other daughter to be happy. And so you see it from the parents' perspective. You see it from Dean's perspective, who really saw his life going one way, but he's trying to figure out, hey, I don't want to be the bad guy here. I loved Mandy, but I no longer love her. And I really see myself being with Cora. So you get to see him experience the waves of what it's like to come back to society and have his whole world turned upside down. And then ultimately you get to see Cora's perspective and how she's handling the number of things she's experienced in that basement and how she isn't able to move past it. The reason why I say I struggle with Cora's character, because I wish she would have realized how much Dean was a partner for her and he was really wanting the best for her. Some of the things that she said to him were extremely nasty. And again, I know that I can never relate to the experience that Cora has, and that is why I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I'm gonna be honest, she took me through it. This is a 4.5 read. I give it a 4.5 read. Writing was exceptional. Storyline was too realistic, but it was so impactful. Dean, top tier, superior love interest. The reason why I couldn't give it a 5-star is because the emotions that I experienced towards Cora, right? Like, I thought this was going to be a 5-star read. I came in, was like, I'm going to love the two, and this is going to be the ultimate supreme OTP for me. But I appreciate her arc and her journey, and I appreciate the strength that she had to be able to get through every single wave that hit her. Please know, if you're going to read this is dark. This is a dark romance. Do not take this lightly. I've read a lot of dark romance and nothing has ever compared to y'all. I am back with a update. I've been a busy little bee. Since I last spoke with you, I've read 4 books. So I've read 2 more in the Twisted series, 1 arc, and then 1 just random e-read that I've been filling. I read Twisted Games. Long story short, least favorite in the series so far. If you want my in-depth thoughts and for me to go on a small rant about it, please click on the video for my entire Twisted vlog. In addition to that, I did pick up Twisted Hate. This is the 3rd in the series. Absolutely adored this one. This is actually my favorite so far. I am currently in the middle of Twisted Lies, but I'm not finished with it yet, so I'll come back. So Twisted Games is a bodyguard romance, royalty romance. It is an age gap of 10 years. This one is the star of the series so far. This is Twisted Hate. This is an enemies to lovers, fake dating, workplace relationship. Be warned that this one is probably, to me, the darkest. It has a little bit of dubious consent in my personal opinion. But everything about this was stellar. I gave Twisted Games, I believe, a 2.5. I gave this a 5-star. I will also tell you, in addition to those 2 books, I read an e-arc of Charming the Devil, which is the second or the sequel in the Charming series by Sarah Blue. That was a 3-star read, 3.5. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a twist. I assumed that book was going to be hardcore because it is with Lucifer and Lilith. So I thought it was going to be hardcore dom-sub relationship. I assumed that it was going to be dark, but it was the exact opposite. This is a sweet romance between Lucifer and Lilith. I think that is probably my fault that I came in with such expectations, because Charming Your Dad was a 5-star read for me, so I was expecting to go down a similar path of Daxodon and Blair, and this was not that. But I will tell you, Sarah is funny. You get to see a lot more of the characters that you love. So you get a little bit of a relationship between Lilith and Blair. You get a small snippet of getting to see Daxodon. You get much more of Kaz and a little bit more of Asmodeus. You get to meet new characters that you will fall in love with, such as Elvor and Judd. It did what it needed to do, and I can't wait for Charming as Hell, because Mara is a chaotic queen, and I can't wait to learn more about her storyline. And then lastly, I read Keeper by Nicole Dykes, and I'm going to tell you that was a 1.5 star. It is a male sports romance, best friends to lovers. Sounds like everything that I would hope for and dream. However, it really felt like a cisgender woman writing what a stereotypical male jock romance would be. It felt like the story did not have beta readers and or queer people to read. Okay, so it's time to close out this recap video with the last 2 books. I finally did finish Twisted Lies. I gave this a 3.5. This is the final in the series. Again, check out my video if you haven't already for my full thoughts on all 4 of the books in the series. This one is an obsessed hero. It is fake dating, billionaire, grump sunshine romance. This is probably the one that took me by surprise the most in terms of the mystery and the plot. Oh, let me not forget to mention, it is a slow burn. You don't get to the burn until 50% of the way through. Like, it is a chunky book and you have to endure every single second. But when it hits, it hits. Lastly, I picked up On the Hustle by Adriana Herrera. This was nearly perfection. This was a 4.5 star book. This is a grump co-workers or former co-workers type of situation. Forced proximity. This has Dominican representation, so I loved being able to listen via audio and being able to hear the accents, listen to the native language, and be able to feel the passion between the 2 characters. You've got Alba, who is almost really sick and tired of Theo's shit. So she's like, hey, you don't treat me right as a secretary. You've got 2 other ones. I'm going to dip because an opportunity came my way. Lo and behold, he has been pining after her for the entire duration of their working relationship since day 1. And he follows her to Dallas, Texas from New York. And he's smitten with her, and he's going to do everything within his power to, now that they no longer have a working relationship, for them to be together. And so he kind of manipulates his way into a TV show that she is working on. And I love everything about Theo. He is supreme dream boyfriend book material. He has a dirty mouth, but he asks for consent. He pampers her. Like, his love language is acts of service. He gives her massages. He makes sure that she eats. Like, everything you could think of, he's already thought of and made sure to provide it for her. I love that Adriana did a number of things to be able to work through stereotypes. So there is a lot of gaslighting that we talk about in this book. There are concerns about erasure of culture. So not only is this fun and witty and spicy, this is also, a really good look at what it's like to be a woman in an industry that you are a minority in from your race standpoint, and how you navigate those waters and how you have to second guess and think of everything that you do. And usually you have to have a man there to be your advocate and ally, and how that can play into your confidence level. So I absolutely adore this. So glad to be able to close out the month and with this book.